One of the other features of our range area here that isn't as crucial but still is good to know is the viewport update. And this just means that if I was to run on my sim, I would notice every frame this is going to update. And as I've mentioned earlier, and a lot of times, this tends to update really quick. Like, I'm really a huge fan of the FumeFX output preview window. It's very quick to draw and do its thing. But as I've also mentioned, the viewport itself tends to draw a lot slower. It tends to be really slow, and that's why I always use the reduction value here. So essentially, if I was to do a really complicated sim, like something with 200, just even 200, which is pretty low res, but it will draw really slow in the view. Okay, so usually by default this updates every 10 frames, and it just means that if I don't have my preview window open, I can run a sim, and every 10 frames it's going to update with what it's doing. So this is kind of handy, but again, most of the time I'm just going to be looking at my preview window itself. I do think it's important to have this viewport stuff here, more if you're looking at trying to line this up with stuff like animation or whatever, or you want to give this grid to an animator to actually use. So that way they can look at your sim and essentially be able to see what's going on, and if the character needs to run and jump over the flame or something, they're able to do that. And I'll get into this later, but again, in the modify panel I can click this little plus, and it's a new feature of Fume 2. I deselect it and the grid stays visible. Again, that's an option because, like I said, they draw pretty slow, so I don't want to have that there if it's going to slow down my viewport display. But it does mean if I were to animate something, I could go and select an object and animate it doing its thing and be able to see exactly where my fire is as I'm doing this. Okay, so it's good to have, but at times it can slow things down. Whereas I turned it off, when I deselect my grid, it deselects the display. Alright, so ultimately, if you have a really dense viewport display, then you might want to, like a dense grid, then you might want to have this set to an infinite number. The other thing is that you can just turn off viewport display and we won't display any fire, which is by default what happens. We don't have fire and smoke and other things turned on, but it will reflect the adaptive grid and stuff like that. So if you want to have like a really accurate, like every frame it's going to reread the cache and display it in the view, you can do that. And as we can see now, it's literally adjusting on the fly and we can see what it's doing. There can be a speed decrease. It just depends on how big your grid is. If we're dealing with a gigabyte cache, then things and over the network, things can get pretty slow. But ultimately, if we're doing something like this, it's not too big a deal. But it's good to know just if you want to set it to an infinite number, just to get it out of the way.